Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno, jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We are rising into victory, celebrating our humanity. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah. We are rising into victory, celebrating our humanity. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah.
I don't wanna waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life. Sometimes when the beat hits, it's just some things there's no going back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left them at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be served in eviction. Competition will be left in a ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes are men, I'm not sleeping with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epiphany, my biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough I can pick myself up and prevail. cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with your company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could, but the people is all we need. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here.
Beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for community, connection, and conversation. So whether you're watching us live or on the global campus or having a local watch party, or you're about to catch that replay, we're so glad that you chose to join us, okay? Our mission is simple. We are here to help you build better, connect better, and live better. And our values are clear. We are forward thinking. We are people centric. And my favorite, we are life affirming. Okay. I love that. And our why is strong because everything we do revolves around people and the reality that people matter. So this isn't a place for pretending certainty. It is a place for honest thinking, shared responsibility, and shared connection. Okay, so if this is your first time, welcome, loves. We appreciate you, and you don't have to agree with everything. Okay, you don't have to have it all together because everybody don't have it all together. Okay, you are here, and that's what matters. So we hope you enjoy your experience and it leads you to coming back the next week and the next week and the next week and sharing with family and friends, okay? So if you are a first-time guest, we want to share something with you. We have a free gift for you, okay? We said free. Okay, so go ahead and visit bridgecity.app/guest. We'll have it on the screen and in the chat for you as well. This is just a small token of our hospitality, and it's a helpful tool for navigating connection in real time. So go ahead and follow the link on the screen and claim your gift at your convenience. No pressure, okay? Just keep in mind our series for the month of February is Falling in Love with Reason. Okay, don't we love the wordplay? So we're going to be exploring ways to maximize the relationships in our lives through the lens of reason and asking the question in the world where old engagement are kind of crumbling here when we're talking about religion, patriarchy, gender norms. And that question we're going to be asking is, can we use reason to reorient ourselves and the way we choose to interact with others? So keep that question in mind as you're listening to each of the sessions for the month of February, because we're talking about friendship, kinship, partnership, and even membership, okay? By the end of the series, the goal is for us to be a step closer and clearer to making the most out of our relationships, okay? So before we begin today's conversation, let's go ahead and check over to Bridge City News.
Hey, Bridge City. Happy Sunday, or whatever day it is on your side of the world. I'm Bob Swanson, and I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot growing, shifting, and unfolding, and I want to make sure you're in the loop. Now, you may have noticed some construction. Our global campus has been under construction, and that means new spaces and places to help our members connect. Visit our new Welcome Center to start exploring the growth for yourself. There's an area for first-time guests, new members, volunteers, and even a space where you can ask questions. Any questions. Questions like, want to host a watch party? Have you ever been in the middle of a Sunday session and thought, I wish this was available in my city in person? Well, you could be the person who becomes that spark. Hosting a weekly watch party is the first step to bringing the Bridge City experience to your city. A watch party is a small in-person gathering where where friends meet at someone's home or venue to watch the community's weekly online session together, creating a shared experience for community, conversation, and growth. It's about building relationships and community around our mission and message, with hosts providing a welcoming space, food, and discussion, supported by community resources. Visit the link to discover everything you need to start, host, and lead a watch party. Now, coming up in March, mark your calendar. Our movie night feature is going to be John Lewis, Good Trouble. I think this was one of my suggestions. What a wonderful documentary. If you're an activist, a wannabe activist, this is the one to see. John Lewis, you'll learn about his life, and you'll learn about his mission to make good trouble. Now, today I want to show some love and shine a spotlight on our politics club. There is no doubt that beliefs and values inform politics, and this is a great space to explore that interaction. No matter your background or viewpoint, you're welcome to bring your voice, curiosity, and questions. And hey, this is a global community. I guarantee you'll learn all kinds of international politics if you stick around long enough. To all our new members, welcome. We know that joining a new community, especially online, can be overwhelming. That's why we've been intentionally working on building a campus experience that helps orient you and makes it easy to navigate all that Bridge City is and offers. If you haven't already, visit the link today and make the most of your member experience, because at Bridge City, membership matters. Since the start of the year, more than 20 people have made the decision to connect with Bridge City as their community of choice, and we couldn't be more excited. We're growing faster than we can keep up with, but we want to be intentional about welcoming, celebrating, and engaging our new members. So, starting this month, every last Wednesday night of the month, we're going to be hosting a house party for new members on the global campus. House parties have always been a part of the vision for local campuses for new members to meet the community in a house party environment. Now that we have a global campus, we want to get that community ritual kickstarted virtually. You'll bring the food and the drinks, we'll bring the games, and we'll all have a good time. It's a perfect opportunity to meet other members in the community while having fun and learning more about our vision. Keep an eye out on the event calendar to RSVP. Now, do you want to get involved? As we're starting to grow, we need members to get involved and help us deliver on the experience and power the mission. As people join the global campus, we need volunteers to greet them and welcome them into our community. We need volunteers to help expand the capacity in production and multimedia. We need volunteers to coordinate campus activities and community events. Volunteering isn't just about helping the community look good. It's how we empower the community to actually do good. Every volunteer expands our capacity to support our growing body of members and mobilize around our mission in real time. And it's also the easiest way to build new relationships that make life meaningful. Becoming a volunteer gives you more people to call, more people to laugh with, and more people to face life with. Visit the link on the screen to explore the growing number of opportunities to get involved. And if you don't see anything that piques your interest, reach out to the team. That's about everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for being the bridge. All right, Darante, let's get into today's conversation.
All right. Good day, Bridge City. Man, I hope y'all are having a wonderful Sunday. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. So glad to have you all here with us this weekend for another wonderful conversation. As my wife said in the beginning, if you're here for the first time, we do have a gift for you. And if you've actually been following the channel this week, I actually started unpacking that gift. Look at there. See how I did that? I started unpacking that gift in our Wednesday lives. And so for those of you who are getting that free gift, if you just kind of want a little walkthrough with it, with me, join me on Wednesdays on the live. For whatever reason, y'all, it's my neurospicy. I can't give y'all a schedule that I'm gonna stick to, not until we fully operational. But as of now, I've been going live on Wednesdays and just sharing things from my perspective, hoping that it'll help us as humans connect better. And so that gift that we give you is actually an ebook called Connect Better, and it just kind of walks through a few of my ideas about what it really means to connect better to yourself, to connect better to others, and to connect better to the world around you and your place in it. And so if you're here for the first time, we'd love for you to get that gift. Now, as I say every weekend, this is not an attempt to get your email, so there's no email capture there. It's literally go there and we take you straight to the download to get your gift. It's on our global campus, so feel free to look around while you're there. Now, if you've been a first-time guest here before and we weren't doing this, guess what? That gift is there for you too. So make sure you check it out. Also, let us know where you're watching us from. We are a global community. We're Bridge City Global. We're officially international, and that's just amazing to me. So as y'all are coming in watching the stream, let us know where you're watching from, and whether you're watching now or later, just drop it in the chat or the comments. We'd love to know where you're watching from so everyone can see how this wonderful community is growing. Now, this is our last Sunday in February, which means this is actually the last Sunday of Black History Month. If you're looking for some content on Black History Month, I have some great content. Go through there. YouTube needs a better search thing. It needs something where you can just say Darante Black Topics. I don't know, but you know what I mean. So in honor of that, I'd be remiss if I did not mention, for those of you who did not know, that we're also just one day removed from the anniversary of the assassination of, to me, one of the greatest minds in the what I'd call the Black Power movement, and that was Malcolm X. Malcolm X was assassinated on February the 21st, 1965, in the Audubon ballroom. He was gunned down as his pregnant wife and his four daughters took cover in the front row. And what a lot of people don't know about the assassination, I'm not going to jump on any conspiracy stuff, so don't worry about that. But what a lot of people don't know about the assassination is that he was getting ready to deliver a message to the grassroots, which he had delivered before and actually had wrote out. So if you're ever curious, like what was worth his assassination, I'd encourage you to check out Malcolm X's message to the grassroots, and you'll learn a lot more about who he was as a man, who he was as a thinker, and what his evolution kind of looked like. He has an amazing story, an amazing background. His parents actually used to work with Marcus Garvey. So I just gave you a whole bunch of Black history right there. You got Marcus Garvey, you got Malcolm X, you got the message to the grassroots. These are all great things. If I could remember what Marcus Garvey, also one of his books that he wrote was Message to the People. So you can take out both of those if you want a raw, unfiltered, unadulterated look into the minds of Black thinkers during some of the most tumultuous times in Black history. Check it out. And speaking of that, I released my first novel, and I got to talk about it. Don't make me feel bad. I released my first novel in 2020, the day after the anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination. And I did that because the feature character, when I first started writing that novel, was based on the idea, like, what if Malcolm X would have lived? How could he have impacted our world? What could our world look like? And it's fiction. It's all fiction. But I wanted to write this kind of epic story, and I end up creating this entire epic universe. So I have a 564-page novel that's sitting out there on Amazon right now. And if I was actually a better salesperson, I would have already had like a slide for this that would have just popped up right now where you see me holding my book. Or like, I'm not going to run and get my book right now, or y'all will be really mad. But you can check it out on Amazon. It's called Memphis, The Last Supper. I will tell you, if you are averse to sexually offensive stuff, there are a few chapters you're going to want to skip, because I wrote this after I was fully deconverted. So the sex is real. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's in there. Like, I think I went too far at some points. Like, I go back and read my books. I'm like, boy, you just nasty for no reason. All right. So that's enough of me talking. Welcome in, everybody. So glad that you're here. Listen, we're closing perhaps one of the most important conversations we've had as a community to date. That is falling in love with reason. If you've missed any part of this series, I'm going to highly encourage you to go back and check out each one. We're actually working in the background to turn our Sunday sessions into deep dive courses for our members to use for personal and group discussions. So what you'll see eventually is probably like 3 months after we close the series, you'll see those courses start to pop up available on the global campus. Now, this will also be an incredible resource for our college clubs. Shout out Bridge City MSU out there in Starkville at Mississippi State. But also for them to host their sessions, but also for future Bridge City leaders to host community discussions locally that help people learn how to reorient together. So we're trying to be very intentional about making sure that we can get resources in your hands that help you do the work of community. Now, let's kind of jump into this conversation today. I started every week. I try to write my notes in advance. I try to get my notes done in advance. Now, like as I've said, we're not fully operational, so it doesn't always work like that, right? If you're enjoying the way things are going right now, if you're enjoying what Bridge City is now, if you're enjoying Sunday sessions now, let me be 100% real with you and say this is less than 5% of what they could be. Oh no, this ain't even us on a budget. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, this is less than 5% of what it could be. This is the very beginning. So if this is good for you, North Carolina, yeah. If this has been good for you, oh my goodness, just wait. Just wait. This is me operating at like 5%, y'all, because so much of me has to be in so many different places. So much of me has to do so many different things. My team, which I feel like we have one of the best teams like in the world, and I'm not playing about that. Like we got an all-star team, man. Like, and it's growing, you know, by leaps and bounds. But they all have other things. Y'all are silly, but they all have other things going on as well. And so none of us can really give 100% yet. None of us can give fully 50% yet. So if this is good, oh my goodness, y'all just wait. So I said all of that to say that sometimes I don't get to my notes until Saturday. And when it's like that, oh my goodness, I'm a little frustrated. You know, I'm a little like, dang, because my notes are normally, the team will tell you, my notes are normally 9 pages long and they're filled with a whole bunch of typos. Because these are like these Saturday night specials, man, which are more like Saturday morning specials. But I'll put my notes together, and I'm taking a little different route. We're still in series. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal. But I want to open it up with somewhat of giving you a little insight with this question that I had yesterday morning when I was sitting down in front of my computer. And I was like, you know what? I think that's how I'm going to open up my notes. And that is, the question I had was like, why didn't humans just stay in their small, isolated tribes? You know, like that was the question that was on my mind, because I try my best to stay away from social media. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I know it's funny because you're watching me on social media. And that often, you know, it kind of rubs people the wrong way because I'm not always as active as they want me to be. And I'm just like, oh no, I'm ribbed for my pleasure, not yours. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm not as active on there. But one of the reasons I'm not is because, like, oh my goodness, it just, everywhere you look, it looks like we just hate each other and just want to kill each other and just want to tear each other apart. And I'm like, bruh, ain't none of y'all got people y'all like? No, nobody, none of y'all got some people that you like, that you want to celebrate, that you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, where's the good news at? You know? And so the question became in my head, like, why didn't groups of humans just stay in their small, isolated tribes? Like we obviously don't like each other, you know. Even in a global society, we're constantly trying to find ways to make it smaller. Even as we've become more connected than at any moment in history, we're still trying to find ways to retreat into different types of tribes, you know? And it's like, okay, yeah, we obviously don't like each other. I remind people it wasn't but about 400, 500 years ago that we stopped killing each other on sight. And when I say stopped killing each other on sight, I mean just like, well, we just kind of stopped, because we still kind of do that, you know? But like, even in a global society, in a global globally networked society, we're still trying to find ways to make ourselves smaller. So why didn't we just stay small? Why didn't we just, pick a cave, pick a tree, pick a mountain, pick some place with some billy goats and just say, you know what, we just gonna stay over here. It's gonna be me and my foe and no more. Why did not humanity just stay small? And I get it. It is somewhat tongue in cheek. I am somewhat just kind of, being sarcastic. There's probably a stronger word to use there, but I am being somewhat tongue in cheek when I ask the question, because I'm like, no, I kind of know the answer. Like, I have a general idea of the answer of why we did not remain small, isolated groups. I have a general answer. But specificity requires expertise in anthropology, evolutionary biology, archaeology, psychology, neurology, and maybe even a little bit of genetics in there. Because we, as human beings, humanity is not a simple story. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that religion, that the residue of religion kind of leaves us wrestling with, is we're trying to make something that is highly complex very simple. The evolution of who we are as a species, and the evolution of who we are as a society, can't be reduced to "and God said." No, we are not a simple story. There are literally not enough pages. There are not enough words yet. We don't even have the full language yet to completely articulate our story. Our story is big. Our story is vast. And so, yes, while I got a general understanding of why we did not stay small, I wanted a specific understanding. So I went to the person or the entity known as Big G. Google. I asked Google, and I should have grabbed this and made a slide for this, but I got this from Google. This is what Google said. So this ain't me, right? This is Google, because I got some sociological expertise, but anthropology, I can jump in there a little bit. Archaeology, bruh, I'm lost. I don't play with bones. You feel me? Showed. All right, so this is what Google said when I asked Google. When I asked Google, why did humans not stay in small, isolated groups? And it says, humans did not remain in isolated, look at there. Humans did not remain in isolated small tribes primarily because of the need to exchange genetic material to avoid inbreeding, combined with a drive for cultural exchange, trade, and enhanced survival through shared knowledge. While some early humans were geographically separated, they formed and continue to form wider social networks. So let's break this down. Man, that's beautiful. Let's break this down. The first one is genetic necessity. To avoid the risk of inbreeding and to ensure survival, early bands formed mating networks, trading partners, and spouses between groups. Now, out of all of the things that would have come to my mind for the general ideas of why humans didn't stay small, why we started connecting with other people, and trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. This one did not cross my mind. This one didn't intuitively pop up in there, but this one is probably the most important, because what it's really saying here is that no, if we would have stayed small, we would have regressed. Oh, okay, damn it. Oh, I'm preaching better than y'all are responding. I think I need a hell yeah in the chat for that. Nope. If we would have stayed small, we would have regressed. If we would have stayed small, we would have started going backwards to the point of non-existence. If we would have stayed small, our inbreeding would have killed us. And I think that's one of the things we're dealing with in the country that I live in, is that we are dealing with a society that is crumbling because of inbred ideas. Damn, this is good. And so instead of becoming more connected, instead of becoming bigger, instead of exemplifying and embodying the fact that we are a global species, we are finding increasing ways to get smaller and smaller. And you're seeing the result in live time, in real time. The result is that we are regressing. oh my goodness, we're moving backwards, because that's what it does. Genetic necessity requires diversity. In the language of biology, diversity is kind of the point. In the language of life, difference is kind of the point. If things don't diversify, they do not evolve, and if they do not evolve, they do not exist. Damn, jalapeno habanera, hell yeah. Okay, let's go. The second one is cultural and technological exchange. Intergroup contact allowed for the sharing of innovations such as advanced tool making, which facilitated better survival and adaptation. Okay, so in other words, we started connecting with other people. We started getting larger. We started enlarging the bounds of how we identified ourselves, so that we could share in innovation, so that we can advance the way that we live, so that we could have better survival and adaptation. Again, connection, diversity, connecting with diversity, connecting with different people, connecting with different genes, connecting with different ideas is kind of the point. Some of the ideas, yes, are going to be rejected. Some are going to be filtered. Some are going to be accepted. But connecting with the diversity is the entire point. The next one is mobility and adaptability. And I'm moving a little fast. Man, look at it. Our production team is on point today. I'm moving a little fast because I'm still in the introduction. I haven't even dropped the title yet, but this is just to kind of help get us oriented on why we decided to connect instead of deciding to stay small. And this next one is mobility and adaptability. Humans are highly mobile and adaptable. We are capable of traversing vast distances, which allowed for interaction rather than permanent isolation. So, in other words, it's almost like, I'm going to be a little careful with this because I don't believe in creation. I don't believe in divine design or anything like that. I know some people do, and I ain't trying to, speak on you now. That's Monday through Friday type content. But it's almost like we were made to move. It's almost like we were made to be mobile, to connect with other folks. We're a social species. We're supposed to move around and adapt. Oh, damn, this is good. You gotta move around and you gotta adapt. And then this next one is shared knowledge. The accumulation of knowledge across groups helped prevent the loss of critical information due to the death of individuals within a small, isolated group. I gotta read that one again, because that hit me a little different just reading it. I don't know if you saw it when it hit me, but the accumulation of knowledge across groups helped prevent the loss of critical information due to the death of individuals within a small, isolated group. I could do a whole video just on that right there, just on the degradation of information. That's what begins to happen. We begin to lose access to critical information when we retreat into our tribes, okay? I hope this is good. So consequently, while some groups remain isolated for long periods, the general trajectory of human evolution was driven by connection and exchange. Okay? The general trajectory of human evolution was driven by connection and exchange. Now, I guess I said all of that to introduce today's title in a way that really bookends this series, and that is that we are connected on purpose. We are connected on purpose. Over the past few weeks, we've discussed friendship, kinship, and partnership. And all of these are in many ways simply memberships. It is a membership with your friend, membership with your kin, and membership with your partners. These are all memberships. A big point of every conversation in this series is that connection is not just about feeling good, it's about doing good. Does that make sense, somebody? Connection is not just about feeling good, It is about doing good. When we reduce connection to being just about how we feel, we reduce it of its reasonable utility and therefore disconnect ourselves from the cause and effect of meaningful connection. Damn, that wasn't in my notes, but that flowed so effortlessly. That was beautiful. Now, this series has been really important to me because our lives often rise and fall in correlation to the status of our relationships. If our friendships are unproductive, if our kinships are not protective, if our partnerships are not profitable, you got to check out last week's for that one, then our lives are probably not prospering in any meaningful way. Our lives often rise and fall in correlation to the status of our relationships. That's one of the points where I had to really interrogate how I do relationships in my own life. And this has been a 10-year reconstruction of me, a 10-year reintroduction of me to the world of who I am, of really, man, reconstructing my entire life and how I relate to the world around me, because I realized I was in so many relationships that were unproductive. And the way that I was able to figure that out is I started asking myself a question. And man, again, y'all gotta check out last week's. I started asking myself this question: D, how did you get here? Oh, y'all, no. And let's take it a step further, because remember we talked about if it's a partnership, everybody got to be leaders. And the real test of leadership is you have to be able to answer the question, how did you get here? Oh, man. No. Did you get here intentionally, or were you just tossed in the wind like Dorothy in the tornado? Did you just land in Oz on accident? How did you get here? So I started asking myself, bruh, how did you get here, Darante? And what I was talking about at that time was just a place of extreme poverty. And the thing was, I had to move it to that second question, not just how did you get here, not just how did you get here, but how do you keep getting back here? Oh man. Oh man. No, how do you keep getting back here with all these good intentions you got, with all these good ideas you got, with all this good work you put in, bruh? How do you keep getting back here? But it's like I said, our lives often rise and fall in correlation to the status of our relationships. And that's what I've been telling you all series long, that one of my biggest realizations in my life was that the majority of my relationships were ornamental and not functional. You got people you can hang with, but nobody you can depend on. Oh, bruh. You got people you can call, but nobody you can call on. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Listen, I became a pastor because I was honestly convinced that Christian ministry was the predetermined path to effectively reducing harm and increasing well-being in the world that we share. But after nearly 2 decades actively engaging the theology and the methodology of the church, past and present, I could no longer ignore the well-being was often asymmetrical and the harm was increasingly hard to ignore. Church leaders were fracturing under the pressure of pastoral expectations and prophetic performances, often becoming caricatures of themselves in order to hide from the reality of their own fragility. And then church members were often crashing into cycles of dependency on the divine while their lives were in constant decline. Now listen to me here. The contemporary church has absolutely mastered a beautifully efficient community model, and they didn't learn it from the Bible or the Spirit. Trust me, I was at the conferences. There is a branch of the social sciences called industrial organizational psychology. Now, industrial organizational psychology is the scientific study of human behavior in the workplace. It's applying psychological principles to improve employee productivity, well-being, and organizational effectiveness. It combines the industrial side of hiring and performance management with the organizational side of culture, motion, and behavior in order to create better work environments. Now, in brief, It is concerned with the scientific structuring of organizations and of work to improve the productivity and quality of life of people at work. And I kind of want to do a whole series called People at Work, because let's be honest, what is life if it's not people at work? Like being born is like clocking in to work, and dying is like, all right, my shift is done. You know, my shift is done. So I kind of want to do a series because we're people at work. What is community? Oh man. But people at work, like that's how, like, for those of you that join Bridge City and that connect with us, I want you to understand you're connecting a community of people at work. Now, industrial organizational psychologists help make workplaces as safe, productive, and satisfying as possible. And you will see that in the past 10 years, there has been a regression in using IO psychology in the workplace. And we'll talk about that at a later time. But this modern science has been the secret weapon of growing churches across the globe, regardless of denomination, for nearly a century. For nearly a century, churches have been applying IO psychology to build their communities. Now, being introduced to this branch of the social sciences was perhaps one of the most liberating moments in my college experience as a person who was going through college as a Christian pastor. Because I was in the church growth movement, I had already engaged much of the course material in theory and in practice because of my mentors and the leadership conferences that I often attended. But it was always presented as the result of divine revelation, not disciplined research. So sitting in those classes allowed me to see how the sausage was made, that there was not a mysterious God whispering secrets to the faithful in the midnight hour, but what many pastors were calling the leading of the Spirit was actually just the learning of the people. Now, that was liberating to me because I then realized that I didn't have to pray to figure out how to help people. All I had to do was pay attention. I got to say that again. What it helped me realize, because I now see that, oh no, they're not praying to get this revelation. They're saying they're praying and they're getting this revelation. They're taking somebody else's research and then they're calling it revelation. But now that I know that they're operating really off of the research, I can just skip the revelation piece altogether. So I don't have to pray about it. I just have to pay attention to it. Damn. That was good, right? I don't have to pray about it. No, I need to pay attention to it and be honest and objective about what I'm looking at. That was a moment of clarity, seeing that a God had never really been behind any of it. It was a moment of sobriety, having to sit with the nuanced reality that all of it was humanity, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The explosive growth wasn't divine favor. It was us. The harm wasn't spiritual warfare. It was us. And so, yes, the contemporary church has the model that is powered by secular research disguised as God's plan, and that has led to great effectiveness and efficiency in small amounts of time. And I mean, literally, some of these churches, some of these mega churches that you see today, they did not exist 30 years ago. But today they have quarterly feeding programs that support hundreds of thousands of people. Man, they build schools and they fund homes for at-risk youth. Like, no, you don't understand. The circle I ran with, we gave away houses, cars, and thousands of dollars in cash money on the regular to support people in the communities that we were a part of. It was truly, for me, the best of times and the worst of times, because while we were doing all of these great things, while we were growing, while we were building community, we were building places that people could connect with, we were still failing to reduce harm or increase well-being because our work was not grounded in reason. Do you remember what the name of this series is? Falling in love with reason, because our work was not grounded in reason. When good intentions don't require good reason, reason, it becomes difficult to measure the effectiveness of the intentions. I'm going to run that back for a replay. Are you ready? When good intentions don't require good reason, it becomes difficult to measure the effectiveness of the intentions. Jalapeno. Because how we help gets assumed before we even ask the question, how do we help? Help then is a reflex and not a response, and reflexes are about you, not the people you're trying to help. So let me make this make sense. For my former Christians, what was the reason for helping people as a Christian? This was one of the last questions that I wrestled with as a pastor. The message is that we were helping people, but the metric is how many people are going to heaven. Yeah, let's talk that. The message is we're helping people. The metric is how many people are following Jesus. The metric is how many people are praying more. And in a world where bullshit didn't lead to bombs over borders, that might in itself be harmless. But it also does nothing to actually decrease harm or increase well-being, because that's not even the goal. The metric wasn't decreased gun violence, it was increased prayer. The message wasn't improved quality of life, it was more performative spiritual life, ignoring that prayer lives don't lead to better lives. As long as our help was rooted in revelation and not reason, we were robbing ourselves of the ability to do more than just surface and spectacle. And please don't get me wrong, I'm here for the whole experience. And yes, surface level stuff decreases the barrier of entry, making it easier for other people to engage. And spectacle literally creates life-shifting memories and moments that are often the spice of life. But if we stop there, here is where we always end up. A society that knows how to feel better temporarily, but has no clue how to do better consistently. Which is why a through line for this entire series of conversations is that connection is not just about feeling good. It's about doing good. You know, I don't just want to feel better. I want to be doing better. This is why our next Sunday session series, and y'all got to check this one out. This next one is about to be absolutely fire. I might just go full preacher mode. This is going to be called The Greater Gospel. Are y'all ready for this? The Greater Gospel. I'm going to go ahead and give you all 4 titles. This is how far in advance I be thinking out, even when I can't catch up with myself. This is how far in advance. Week one, we're talking about the great news. All right. You've heard about the good news. We're going to talk about the great news. This series comes from a place where a friend of mine, when we were talking, he said, I don't understand why we as people who are humanists, I'll put it that way, for people who are humanists aren't as excited to share our perspective of the world. It's like we have the greater gospel, like we have the bigger gospel. And I was like, ooh, I like that, because we do have a message that's not discriminatory. See, the good news, okay, watch this. The good news is love your neighbor. The great news is love everybody. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. No, man. We're moving from good news to great news. The good news is that there might be somebody who wants to save you. The great news is that you can save yourself. Come on here, production team. Weapons of mass production. Yes, I love it. From good news to great news. The great news is you can save yourself. Message 2, conversation 2, love the world. Love the world. We're shifting from hate the world to love the world. The many is week number 3, where we're shifting from focusing on one person, from one man. By one man were you saved? No, we're shifting from one man to the many, and then we're going to capstone that bad boy with we're rising. Shifting from a focus on somebody's resurrection to a focus on humanity's evolution. I hope y'all are ready for that, because that's why we exist, not just to help people feel better on a Sunday morning, but to empower a community to do better each day, day by day, step by step, every little step I take. Y'all ain't ready for me. Listen, connection serves to foster belonging, validate worth, enhance mental and physical health, and create shared meaning. It acts as a vital duct tape force that reduces stress, boosts empathy, and encourages healthy behaviors while providing support during challenging times and increasing overall life satisfaction. Connection and collaboration are the social tools that all living things use to transform hostile environments into healthy ecosystems. Okay, we are living in a hostile environment. What are the social tools to transform that hostile environment into healthy ecosystem? We do that through, what is it? Connection and collaboration. Regardless of where we are, we have made it this far through human connection and collaboration. And at times like these, that's something that we can't afford to neglect. We lose ourselves and everything we've accomplished when we lose our ability to connect. That's why, in a world of increasing fragmentation and polarization, Bridge City exists as an unflinching mission to help people find better ways to connect, build, and live. All right, so now before we jump into this, let's define the purpose of membership, because that's today's conversation. That's today's conversation. The purpose of membership is to provide individuals with exclusive access to benefits, resources, and community while offering organizations a predictable funding base and a loyal, engaged user base. It establishes a structured relationship that fosters networking, professional development, and shared goals. Membership in the context of society serves to connect individuals around shared interests, professions, or values, providing, watch this, a structured way to achieve collective goals, foster belonging, and gain exclusive access to resources. I bet you've never thought about membership like this before. It functions as a foundational element of civil society, allowing people to collaborate, advocate for change, and build social identity. Now, the purpose of membership can be broken down into a few key areas, and I want to hit all four of them real quickly. The first one is social connection and identity. Look at there. Membership fulfills the human need to belong to a group larger than oneself. Okay? Offering a sense of community and support. That's when I realized that something was wrong with the way my life was structured, because I had people around me, but I had no support. I had a crowd, but I was not in a circle. I had a crowd, but I did not have a community, right? So group affiliation helps group affiliation helps individuals define their social identity as how we become we rather than just me. When our self-image is defined, or when our self-image begins to reflect the global identity that we share. Me is awesome, but every now and then I need a reminder that I'm a part of a we. No. Me is awesome. Me is incredible. Me, in my humble opinion, is all that and a bag of chips. But every now and then, actually more often than not, I need a reminder that I'm a part of a we. Man, and actually, I think I need to sit in that for a little bit, jalapeno, because I think that's where quite a few people are. Like you dope, like you dope as all get out. You probably one of the dopest people on this planet. You bring so much to the table. You are an incredible force, but at some point you've been doing it by yourself for so long that it's become second nature for you to just handle it, you know? And so now you don't even know how to be a we anymore. No, I struggle with that sometimes. Like real talk, I struggle. After I've been doing me for so long, how do I even do we? Yeah, nah. Like, cause I used to tell my wife, once I realized that a shift was taking place in me and how I viewed the world, my place in it, and what I'd have to do. I was like, oh man, like honestly, I think I realized that if I have to pull this out of the mud, like I've done, like if I have to pull this out of the mud, the person on the other side of that is going to be a whole different monster. Like that's just cause and effect, bro. Like I'm just telling you, no. If I got to do it out the mud, it's like a seats taken mentality. Y'all remember that scene in Forrest Gump when Forrest gets on the bus and people are like seats taken? Like that's me. Like when I pull it out of the mud, I'm just like, oh no, seats taken. Oh, no, I said, can I go sit? No. That seat's that seat's taken. No, because I wasted too much time doing ornamental and not functional. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Listen, I'm a movement by myself. Yes, but I'm a force when we're together. Thank you, Neo. I love that. All right, so membership brings together like-minded individuals to share experiences which can decrease loneliness and improve well-being. All right? That's one of the things that membership helps us do. It brings us together to share experiences. Sunday sessions, like I told you at the beginning, you're only seeing 5% of the experience right now. Sunday sessions are designed so that we can have an experience that we can share together that helps reorient us while reminding us that we're all in this together, right? And this is what helps decrease loneliness and improves well-being. This is what many of us are missing right now. Oh man, like some people, like I get it. There are some things you need medicine for. There's some other things you just need good membership. Damn, I'm jalapeno, bro. Like, damn, this is good. No, there are some things you need some good medicine for, but then there's some other things you need some good. There's some other things you need good membership for. And that is a member too, Diesel Bones. That's a member too. Sometimes you need a good member. Jalapeno habanero. Oh, y'all don't be messing with me today. All right, so the next one is professional and personal growth. Now, because my work has been so deconstruction centered over the past 2 years, one thing that you may not know about me, but I'm sure it leaks through everything I do, is that the one thing that I'm probably more passionate about than leadership, and oh goodness gracious, I'm passionate about leadership, is growth. I am passionate about growth in whatever that means for you. Now, I know what it means for me. I define it for me. You define it for you. This ain't House Hunters. You don't exist for me. Your walls weren't painted for me. That's why they not my color. But I am absolutely passionate about personal and professional development. Members gain access to a vast network of peers, mentors, and industry leaders, which can lead to new opportunities and partnerships. That's one of the things that people take for granted when you join a community, is that when you're joining a community, man, there are more than just fellow members in that community. When you're joining a community, there are peers in that community, there are possible mentors in that community, there are possible partners in that community, and those are connections that help us grow, which is why I want to encourage everybody who is a member of Bridge City, a member of our global campus, man, maximize your time, maximize your relationships, get the most out of your membership. Another thing that membership helps produce is education and resources. Associations often provide specialized knowledge, research, training, and certifications, allowing for continuous learning and skill development. Credibility. Membership in a reputable association adds a layer of professional legitimacy and trust. These are some good benefits right here. We should have named the first half of this message that membership has its privileges. The next one is collective action and advocacy. And this is probably one of the most important, right? Because you're looking around. We are all looking around at a world that we're not satisfied with. We're all looking around at a world. Many of us are terrified of what's coming. Many of us are truly concerned with how things are going. Well, the response to that, especially if you've been paying attention to this series and last series, we had a conversation on Dr. King Weekend, what I like to call King Weekend. What do good people do? What do good people do? Like if when you see things like this going on in the world, the response is collective action and advocacy. But collective action is not a reaction. It is a response. Collective action doesn't happen as a reaction. You know what I'm saying? Collective action has to be a response, and a response has to be prepared in advance. Damn, this is good. Oh, habanero. A response has to be prepared in advance. Membership says, like when I was growing up, we used to have this saying, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And like, that's one of the problems in society right now, is that we stop staying ready. Membership is one of the ways that helps us stay ready. It helps us be in position for collective action and advocacy. By uniting, members can influence policies, regulations, and legislation that affect their industry or community. But that doesn't happen the day you hear the bad news. You have got to be already organized before the bad news comes. And if you're not organized when the bad news comes, instead of shouting at the bad news, your number one priority needs to be organizing. I'm just talking. Intentional associations serve as platforms for collaborative problem solving. Collaborative problem solving. I realized we have a problem in problem solving collaboratively. Years ago, y'all know, former Black nationalist. Years ago, I was on a panel with somebody who was running for Congress for my state, and they were telling Black people what they should do as far as voting, how they should vote, and why they should vote that way, and the plan that they had. And I asked one simple question, and it derailed the entire conversation. And I said, "Okay, Miss Potential Congresswoman, where has this plan worked at before?" And you could almost see the shock on people's face, like, "Oh, I've never thought to ask that question." And she was like, literally, "No, what do you mean? No. Where has this plan that you are promising people is going to work, where has it worked before? How are you getting this certainty that this plan will work?" And the reason I asked the question is because I wanted to know, are you just piping somebody else's narrative, or have you actually done the work to trust that this actually is a good strategy? And it turns out, no clue. No, I don't know. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, so you mean to tell me, as a person who is aiming for politics and who is trying to present a proposal based off of your understanding of history, you haven't even done research on the history to know where this has ever worked at, when we have an innumerable amount of nations on this planet that you can pull from as case study? Oh, no, see, I realize we have a problem. We have a problem with collaborative problem solving. We don't solve problems anymore. We just have ideas that we shout out. We have scripts that we run by. When people come to me and they say, "Hey, what we need to be doing is this," I say, "How do you know? Where are you testing it at?" Reading it in a book is not the same as trying it in a lab. No. If you were really convinced that this is the way, then why aren't you living already that way? Instead, you're waiting for someone else to make it happen. No, we have to get back to collaborative problem solving. Like, no, how do you know that's going to work? No, let's work together to figure it out. No, let's work together. No, let's try it as a group. Let's experiment with it. Okay. All right. Now listen. Okay, I get it. You tired of capitalism? No, I'm right there with you, player. I'm right there with you, player. Okay. So I tell you what, let's get 15, 20 people together and let's buy a little plot of land and let's practice something different. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to practice what you preach, come on now. Whew. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Intentional associations serve as platforms for collaborative problem solving. Our ideas is not going to get the job done. You have to have people at the table who are really willing to think tank, to go through trial and error, to practice it on a smaller scale before you promote it to a bigger scale. And this has been one of the problems with this particular country for a long time. I'm going to shut up about politics in a moment, but we keep praising stuff on a larger scale that has never been demonstrated or practiced on a smaller scale. See, no, our superstitious stuff is not just with religion in this country, y'all. I constantly tell people that I am not anti-religious. I'm anti-superstition. Our religions are superstitious for the same reason that our politics are superstitious. It's the same reason that our cultures are superstitious. It's the same reason that our families are superstitious. It's because we the problem. We the problem. We're the ones who are superstitious. Superstition is the result of borrowed certainty. Damn, can I get a hell yeah in the chat? Superstition is the result of borrowed certainty. Anywhere you're practicing borrowed certainty in your life, you're walking in superstition. You know, this is one of Carl Sagan's greatest contributions as far as a concern for where our society would start regressing, is that we're in a world where we have so much and don't know how any of it works. You know, you pretending that you pressing the button to turn the TV on is you actually having the power to turn a TV on. Like you don't even know how it works and pretending to know how it works. And now we think we know something because we read something, which makes me wonder, how are we then any different than the religious folk? That's not how knowledge works. No, you don't know something because you read it. You know it because you understand it, and you understand it because you practiced it. Oh my goodness. So members often establish codes of ethics, industry standards, providing value to the public and defining professional practice. Membership allows us to be prepared in advance. Membership allows us to practice problem solving. Membership allows us to practice solutions instead of performing rage. Yeesh, Shaba. The next one is tangible benefits and support. Like, damn, like, honestly, I could walk away right now because this has been so damn good. It's tangible benefits and support. Membership often provides access to group discounts on services, insurance, and products. And watch this. When we say discounts, I'm not just talking about somebody say, oh, you get 15% off of this. I'm talking about discounts in the very root of the word, that the discount itself is created by sharing the burden. You know, some people life costs less because they have other people to share the burden with. That's discounted life. Oh, damn. Did we just sneak up in a whole nother conversation? Like, I want that discount life. Well, I'm sharing the burden with other people. See, like, this would normally cost you this much, but because I'm sharing the burden, like I want to be walking in a natural discount. Like I want that discount. You feel me? Like, no, the discount is created by sharing the burden. It costs us less to do it together. It's expensive to do it alone. Listen to me, everybody that's doing it alone, you could be saving yourself. I just saved 15% by doing it together. You see how I did that? Geico, you're welcome. Pay me my money. All right, no, but no, life is expensive when you do it alone. Life is like, you got to go back like almost 2 years now to find this series, How to Human. But that was like, you can almost see the moment where it just kind of hit my face. Like, no, like life really is expensive to do alone. You got to run twice as fast. You know, it's expensive to do alone. Membership creates shared resources. Members frequently have access to proprietary data, research, and publications. They also have access to tangible group resources that help underwrite better living. This was one of my biggest disappointments of the way that my church operated when I was a pastor. And my church, you know, I might be a little biased, but I'm going to say we were one of the good ones. We gave away money. We helped the poor. We supported our community. But honestly, we did all of that. And there were things that I could have been doing for the members who were actually funding the movement that I wasn't even doing. And it could have been small things, just like making sure they had access to computer software programs. So, all right. So next one, civic engagement and contribution. Many associations offer opportunities to volunteer, allowing members to give back to their community. Membership often empowers individuals to have a voice in the organization's governance, such as electing leaders, voting on bylaws, or leading campaigns and programs. In one sentence, membership is how small people make huge impact. Membership is how you go from thinking, dang, I can't do anything, to being able to say, oh, I'm making impact there, right? So I used to run two thrift stores that funded two service centers, and those service centers were they would provide grocery. We'd provide groceries. We'd help people with their utility bills and stuff like that. All right. So, and this, of course, back when I was working in the church world. And so we'd partner with other churches who were a part of our association. And those churches would also help to fund those service centers. And the biggest reason they love doing it, because they said they know their smaller communities could not afford to make that type of impact. But because we were already doing it, they could just plug in with a donation every now and then. And they could literally tell people like, hey, yes, we have this service center, because now, even though we don't have it, we're helping it exist. That's the power of membership. Okay. So let's explore some levels of leadership, and then we'll get out of here. The first one is life membership. What is life membership? Have you ever thought about this? You are a member of life itself. You are a living creature in a living web. Before there's religion, before there's politics, before there's tribe, there is biology. Life membership is the ethical baseline. Harm and well-being are real because nervous systems are real. We don't need a shared ideology to agree that kids shouldn't be abused, that people shouldn't be exploited, and that hunger shouldn't be normal. We're not measuring virtue, we're measuring impact, okay? But being alive isn't just about avoiding death. It's about the audacity of experience. That's one of the things that you got to make sure. Like, and I'm not saying you got to, I'm not your boss, anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, don't be alive and it not be an experience for you. There needs to be the audacity of experience. To be a member of life is to be a participant in a grand 4 billion year old experiment. Make the most out of it. Nature doesn't have a final draft. It has iterations. It tries, it fails, it adapts, it feels. And when we shut ourselves off from new ideas or different people, we aren't just being conservative, we're being anti-biological. We are resigning our membership in the very process that brought us here. Before you're a religious person, before you're an American, before you're black or white, you're alive. And life comes with two fundamental obligations: cooperation in the interest of preservation and experimentation in the interest of evolution. I realized when I was going through my deconversion that by robbing myself of experience, I was robbing myself of evolution. By not really experimenting with who I was and what I wanted and what I liked and what I didn't like, I wasn't allowing myself to evolve as a character. Ooh, don't be stuck in your own, don't be typecasted in your own story. Damn, jalapeno, this is good stuff. Don't be typecasted in your own story. No, I'm here. Number one, I'm here to cooperate in the interest of preservation and to experiment in the interest of evolution. See, watch this. Organization is the language of life. If we want to keep living, we have to keep organizing ourselves around the preservation of life. And we have to stay curious enough to keep experimenting with how to make life worth living. Oh, this is too good. If you don't take nothing away from that, remember, organization is the language of life. Okay. So if you're ever wondering why something isn't being effective, ask yourself, is it organized? Because if it's not organized, it's probably not living. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is all right. We got to keep going. Because I don't want to hold you too long on this beautiful Sunday. The next one is, what is planetary membership? I told you I came to mess with you today. This might be too deep for some of y'all. See, you knew we were going to be talking about memberships, but you didn't know we were going this heavy. We're starting at life, and now we're talking about planetary membership. You are a member of a planetary system, an ecosystem that you didn't create and you cannot escape. You can't spirit your way out of physics. Planetary membership is where we move from personal ethics to systems thinking. It's the realization that the Earth is essentially a high occupancy vehicle, a cosmic carpool that we're forced to share. Looking at it that way, if we're looking at our planet as a high occupancy vehicle that we are forced to share, we are all in the cosmic carpool of planet Earth. That means every passenger is responsible for the ride. Every passenger is responsible for the ride. We just some space apes on a floating rock traveling through space, you know? But every passenger is responsible for the ride. In this carpool, the planet system does not negotiate with your beliefs. Water, air, food, climate, disease, these systems don't care about your convictions. They only they only respond to your conduct. All right? So one of the things that we need, that we can start practicing as a society, is stewardship without superstition, right? So we don't have to deify nature to stop destroying it. You understand? Like, I get it. We can call it Mother Earth. We can. But we don't have to deify it. We don't have to personify it to stop doing harm. You get what I'm saying? We just have to be a responsible occupant. Damn, this is too good, man. We have to be a responsible occupant. See, I like Mother Earth, and I like Gaia, but that's because I like Captain Planet. And again, I think Captain Planet should be the unofficial mascot of Bridge City, even though the mascot of Bridge City is technically a butterfly, but I still kind of want it to be Captain Planet, and it has to be the Don Cheadle, Captain Planet. All right, back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, so you have to be a responsible occupant. That's right. Powers unite. The next one is resource distribution. Like, because we're in a closed system, my freedom cannot include poisoning the common space. And just to be clear, the planet is the common space. It's the vehicle that we all share. Membership in this carpool requires a commitment to collective upkeep. If one person trashes the back seat, the whole car smells. It's like, man, I think we need to let the window down a little bit. You know? We have to stop thinking of the planet as a stage for our personal dramas and start seeing it as a shared lab for our collective survival and experience. Now, this requires long-term thinking, acting like the future counts, and ensuring the resources are shared so the vehicle keeps moving. All right, now I'm going to say something, and what I'm about to say here, this isn't in my notes, but it's Black History Month, so I have to go here. We talk about this in my house all the time. It isn't a popular conversation, but I'm going to say it because it's what my ancestors said. So you have some of the greatest thinkers in like, oh man, in Black history, like Carter G. Woodson, the founder of what is known as Black History Month today, which initially started as Negro History Week in the early turn of the century, probably right before the 20s. And then you have Chancellor Williams, whose name often sometimes get caught up with other people who are in some type of pseudo-intellectual spans. And then you have Cheikh Anta Diop, whose name also does get thrown out there as well. But these were people who all took history very seriously and were very concerned with the state of not just Africans in America, but Africans abroad. And they did a lot of research on continental Africa. And one of the things that they wrote there that absolutely broke my heart. And just to be very clear, I don't think this is an African problem. I think this is a human problem. But for them, they were looking for like what happened, what really happened to get us to where we were. And all three of them writing separately. I can throw Booker T. Washington into this too, because he said something similar. But all three of them writing separately came to the same conclusion. And they said that I think our greatest tragedy is that at some point we forgot to care for the future. And so you start working so hard, you get so caught up in working on today that you're not really preparing the next generation. You're not really concerned for the next generation. And that's one of those things that starts creating that regression. And that hit my heart so powerfully when I first read it, because I was like, oh shit, I've seen that in real time. I've seen that in communities. I've seen that in modern culture where everybody is more so caught on preserving the past than they are protecting the future. Oh my goodness, y'all don't want to talk to me. So at some point, we have to embrace long-term thinking. We have to embrace systems thinking, first, second, third order kind of thinking. If I do this, what happens down the road? What am I? This was the question that I had to deal with as a parent. How are my decisions robbing my children of opportunity? Oh, bruh. Like, how is the way that I'm engaging the world impacting the world that they're going to inherit? Like, oh, shoot. See, it requires long-term thinking, acting like the future counts. But if you come from a cultural or religious background where you are waiting for a day for a great warlord to come to the earth and destroy it all anyway, like Sartre in the Dark World and Thor Ragnarok, then like you don't even believe it's possible. You don't believe a future is possible, and that's why most of us haven't even worked out the muscle of thinking towards the future. We have to act like the future counts and ensure the resources are shared so that the vehicle keeps moving. At least until we can find out if there's another vehicle we can get on. Like if this is the only vehicle we have right now, if we're in a high occupancy vehicle and this is the only vehicle we can occupy, this is the only vehicle we can occupy. This is the only one we got. And it's the only one on the lot. I think we ought to take care of it. I think if it's the only, like if you get out the car, like in this car, if you get out of this car, you die. Like if this car breaks down, you don't walk, you die. Okay, you know what I mean? If this car breaks down, if this car, oh, I love that. I got to call that out. I got write science fiction, even if it's horrible. Flex that muscle. I absolutely love that. This is the only one on the lot, okay? When we know that there's another one on the lot, maybe then we can maybe then we can let the gas on this one get closer to E, okay? Because then we know, okay, if we get out, we just go get another car. But as of now, if this is the only one we got, you got to be like the people in Chevy Chase. You got to roll them up, okay? Roll them up. We're in bad times. We got to protect this vehicle, okay? We got to act like the future counts and ensure that resources are shared so that the vehicle keeps moving. This is our only vehicle right now. It's not that without it, we'd be homeless. Without it, we'd be lifeless. This is the only place we can do life right now. Oh, well, I almost spoke in tongues on that one. This is the only place we can do life right now. So the planet doesn't care about what you believe. It only cares about what we do. I actually don't even care about that, but you know how to say it. All right, so the next one is, what is societal membership? So we talked about being members in life. We're talking about being members on this planet. But what does it mean to be a member of a society? What is societal membership? What is a society? A society is a group of people, a group of individuals involved in persistent social interaction. It is a large group of people who live together in an organized way, making decisions about how to do things and sharing the work that needs to be done. In other words, society is humanity in training. That's society. Society is humanity in training. When we neglect to orient ourselves as a society of shared members, we are neglecting the training. Oh, this is good, man. Damn, this is good. Okay, you're a member of a human society. We got laws, we got norms, we got institutions, we got economies, we got cultures. This is where connection becomes civic responsibility. It's not just about being nice, it's about building something that works. All right. So listen, why do we treat, and this is why, like, I am a nice person, but I do not like politeness for the point of politeness. This is why we're talking about falling in love with reason. When you start getting disconnected from the reason of things, then you just get loopy. That's the best way I can say that, because this is where it becomes, where it's not about nice. No, we treat each other this way because it works. Not like we treat each other this way because we work better when we do this. We need to have those understandings that I'm not being nice to you just because I want to be a nice person. And that's literally what it's become in many Southern cultures, that nice is like this politeness thing that you put on, and it doesn't really matter how you treat people as long as you say the right things when you're in public. As long as you perform the right rituals, then you're actually nice, then you actually polite. But my question is always, how does it help though? How does it work? Sure, you say hey to everybody you see. Sure, you do all of your please and thank yous, but you're still beating the hell out of your kids, but you're raising people who are going to bully the hell out of other folks. So no, the question is, are we engaging with each other in ways that actually works? I was talking to our head of community last Sunday, and we were kind of talking about this. It may have been the Sunday before last, but we were talking about this, and because I told her I had this thought years ago where I realized I'd be walking down the street and I see a stranger and I say, hey, how you doing? And I realize I don't mean that shit at all. I don't really want to know how you doing. I don't know you to want to know how you doing. I don't mean that. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but we become so performative. And that's the problem of politeness to me. We've become so performative that we don't even know why we're doing what we're doing. And so I realized, like, nah, if the person actually started responding to me, telling me how they're actually doing, I'd probably be like, oh, dang, bro, I gotta go. I was like really just headed into the store. I was just asking you that to be polite. And it was like, well, how is it polite to ask me something that you don't want to know? How is it polite to ask me a question without really intending on getting an answer from me? That means that your politeness really isn't about me. It's just about how people see you. And then that means we're disconnected from the reason of doing things. So I noticed this stuff when I was a child, when I realized that people would hold their ears for cuss words. Like if somebody says shit, but then somebody say shoot, and I'm like, oh no, that train don't go all the way to the top. Something is horribly wrong there. The definition of the words didn't change. So what you're doing here is performative. And we become so performative in our engagements with each other that we really don't actually sit down and say, hey, does the way we engage each other actually work? And when I say work, does it move us forward? Does it get us to where we're trying to go in life? And so when I was talking to our head of community, Ashley said, you know, maybe we should just say, nice to see you. And I was like, oh, you know what? Damn, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to be seen. Because when I say that, I do mean that. I do mean that it's nice to see you. And that puts us back into a place of integrity, of honesty, being performative, operating off of these scripts, just living life off of borrowed certainty has got us to that place where we're engaging in ways that is not productive or fruitful for our own lives, nor is it engaging or fruitful for others. So many of you got friends and you've never even done friendship for real. Many of you got lovers and you've never had a partner in your entire life. That's why we're having these types of conversations. All right. So societal membership, when you realize we're members in society, it begins to break down the myth of independence. That you don't get to only take from the system. Reciprocity is the rent we pay for the safety of the group. You know, when I first entered in college, I was going to be a secondary educator. I wanted to teach high school until I started substituting, and I was like, nah. But one of the things that they have a saying of is like TNSAAFL, which is there's no such thing as a free lunch, you know, and that stuck with me for a while because I'm like, why is there not such thing as a free lunch? And that's my neurospicy, which I'm grateful for. because that's the thing that helped free me from borrowed certainty. You know, it helps gets me away from that borrowed certainty. It's like, why is there no such thing as a free lunch? And I eventually did realize that, damn, at this moment there really is no such thing as a free lunch. Life is cause and effect, and there's at this moment we don't have perpetual motion. And so in order to get something out, something has to be put in, and it has to keep going like that. And so this myth of just like, no, I can just exist and things are just going to come freely to me, it's like, ooh, no, if it's coming freely to you, someone is working to get it there, bruh. No, somebody is working to get it there if it's coming to you. So at some point, we really do have to wrestle with that. Like, no, like reciprocity is the rent we pay for the safety of the group. At some point, we all have to realize that we all have to do a part, and your part doesn't have to be my part, nor does your part have to nor does your part have to be predefined by what's already been done before you got here, but everybody has to play a part. That's reciprocity. All right. In order for us all to get something out of this, we've all got to be putting something into this. That's societal membership. That's societal membership, you know, and then also justice as maintenance. Watch this. Here it is. Yes, I am. I very much so. Justice as maintenance, not punishment, not theater. Okay. Now I'm so concerned that justice has become theater, that justice has just become punishment. And I say become, like it's actually been that for humans for a while. Like we love good justice theater. We are gluttons for other people's punishment. But honestly, justice is about maintenance. Societies decay when harm is ignored. Just like a building, if you don't maintain the foundation, justice, equity, the whole structure eventually collapses on everyone inside, even you. And so again, this is why the relationships are not about just feeling good. They're about being able to do good. They're about how does this actually work, right? There's shared work and redistribution. A healthy society requires the redistribution of not just resources, but responsibility. We move from what can I get to what must we do? And that again goes to that Carl Sagan line. All right, you can start with, hey, what do I get? But always have an understanding of what does it take to get it to me? Even if I'm not the one getting it, what does it take to get it to me so that I'm no longer disconnected from the work that somebody else had to put in to get it there? Because there's a small thing that begins to happen in that, and that is the depreciation of others' humanity. You begin to depreciate other people's contribution when you treat it like a right, when you treat it like it just exists, like it just shows up, like it no somebody had to get this here to you. Somebody had to do something to get this y'all don't want to talk to me right now. A healthy system requires the redistribution of not just resources, but responsibility. And then even conflict navigation. Society is the training ground. Okay? We have to learn how to disagree without destruction. We have to learn how to disagree without disconnecting, because we in the same high occupancy vehicle, and that disconnection is going to disrupt the travel plans of everybody. If we can't navigate conflict here, we will never be able to survive the bigger challenges. If we can't survive conflict with each other, we are always going to be overthrown and disoriented by natural disasters. Right now, we're our greatest threat. And the moment we actually learn how to reorient ourselves, to navigate disagreement without chaos, without destruction, the moment we get there, we're going to be a better prepared species. Oh man. Okay. I don't want to get in the future. I don't want to get in the future. Let's stay right here for a moment. Okay. Society is just people trying to live together without killing each other. And we're clearly still in the remedial phase of that training. But we don't have to wait for the whole world to get it right. We can actually start practicing it, which leads me to my final question of today. Are y'all ready? What is intentional membership? Now, I've talked about all the other ones. We talked about life, because if you're alive, for the most part, you don't have a choice. For the most part, like, I mean, you got a choice, but I don't want to encourage that direction. I mean, that's your choice, but you get what I'm saying. But for the most part, life membership, planetary membership, and society memberships are largely out of your control. But intentional membership, this is the only level that's chosen, and yet it's the foundation of all the other memberships. You opt into a community with a mission, a culture, and standards. When we fail at community, society's fracture, the planet is poisoned, and life is disregarded. Not just because people are actively causing harm, but because people are not actively organizing around well-being. Belonging isn't just convenient. It isn't just convenience, it's covenant. Intentional membership is where you stop drifting through relationships and start connecting on purpose. And this is really, like, I think all of today's conversation was really to get us here, is that, like, it requires a shared mission. So Bridge City, we are a membership community, right? Bridge City, so we have a shared mission. What's our shared mission? To help people build better, connect better, and live better. What's our shared practice? Shared practices is how we talk, how we resolve conflict, how we support people, how we show up in our community, and how we show up in the world that we share together. It's for Bridge City, it takes mutual responsibility. This is why we shifted from Discord. This is not a fan club. Bridge City is a community. It's not a fan club. We shifted from Discord so that we could help people orient to mutual responsibility, that no, you're not coming here to say, oh, D's so great. Oh, I loved your recent video. Oh, what do you think about this? Oh, Darante, how can I beat up Christians? Oh, no, this is not a fan club. It's a community. A connection comes with the obligation to carry. Otherwise, the current gets dropped and flow gets disrupted. Not everybody has to lead, but everybody has to bring something. Not everybody has to take massive responsibility, but everybody has to take a part. It's just like if you're on a ship that's going down, I get it. You may not be the one to save the ship, but you can at least help somebody do something. And that's really what community is. Community is getting in and finding something you can do to help make it better. And honestly, the most times the place you find that is to find the thing you don't like about the community. You find the thing you don't like about the community, and you focus on that to find a way to make it better. Now, what that looks like in real life, what intentional membership looks like in real life, is moving from attendance to engagement to contribution and to possibly leadership. And in that case, in our type of community, our metric is not how many people got saved. Our metric of how well we're doing is not how many people are praying more. And it's not even how many people are praying less. Like, we don't have a board, like, we don't have a chart that says how many people did we convince to stop wasting their time praying this week. Yeah. Like, no, that's not our metrics. Like, and that's why you've heard me say this. We're not fully operational yet. Like, we're trying to get there. We on the way. We on the way. Yes, we is, but we're not fully operational yet. But when you see it, what are the metrics that we're looking for? Better relationships. What are the metrics that we're looking for? Less isolation. healthier conflict. I do not run from conflict. I do not run from the existence of conflict. So I don't want to build a community that runs from the existence of conflict. We don't want a community that pretends that conflict doesn't exist, because those are communities that begin to punish people for conflict. Instead, we want a community where the conflict is healthy. That's how we get more stability. And then probably the most important metric that we'll be judging Bridge City success by, the most important metric, is more real world help. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I can't wait for. Man, Bob, Zernial, Ashley, baby girl, what I can't wait for is when we're sitting around at the table saying, oh, how many families did we help this year? How many local initiatives that actually make tangible impact in their community? Like how many of those were we able to support? How many were we able to sponsor? Like if y'all, like, one of the reasons I am aggressively building, is because, like, there are children, there are teenagers who go through school and they get in trouble, and then they go to court, and then they get offered to be put in these systems that sound good, but many of them are often faith-based. And for some, it's a life-changing situation but if you just so happen to be a part of those systems and you are a non-believer or questioning your beliefs, and I've seen it real time, that's why it's a passion of mine, then you often get tortured in those places, physically, emotionally, and at the same time, and they're not even really equipping you with real tools to reorient yourself to better living. The church gets to lie about its successes for the same reason it gets to lie about its miracles, because no one validates its claims. And so people sometimes ask me, say, well, what do you say about people who say they got saved and they stopped drinking and never took a drink? I said, I've met enough of those people to know that the majority of them are lying. What do you say about the people who say they got delivered from drugs? I've met them. Like, I was the pastor, bruh. I was the pastor. No, I saw the other side of the testimony. You know what I'm saying? I had a brother who got delivered by the Lord from drugs, and he used to come to my church every Sunday with a briefcase on and a 3-piece suit, sit on the front row. Pastor, Pastor, you good? Like, and then his wife, she was my assistant. His wife was my assistant. Now the Lord delivered him from drugs long time. He'd been delivered free and clean for a long time. And his wife is my assistant, and she needed to use the computer to make sure that we had all the church stuff together. So I gave her the computer. I said, yeah, you can go and take the computer to your apartment. And that brother sold everything in their apartment, including my computer, to get him some drugs. And it wasn't a relapse. He was just lying. And I don't even mean lying just like childish level lying. I mean, when you create a culture that rewards people for pretending, people will continue to perform. People will continue to perform. If you create a culture where, hey, babe, just pretend to fall out, people will continue to. You create a culture. We say that God did it, okay? You create a culture, because then what happens when they relapse? Because they do relapse. What happens when they relapse? After they've given that testimony at church, after they've given this big testimony, Pastor, God delivered us. God delivered me from drugs. I'll never do drugs again. Here I am, 5 weeks clean. And then on the 6th week, they come to the pastor, I messed up. And 9 times out of 10, they didn't mess up that week. They messed up several weeks before, but this is the first time that they got caught. And the pastor is not going to be the one to lie. The pastor is not going to be the one to make it look like God didn't do what he did. So no, the church is not going to bring out the people. The church is not going to bring out the people that went backward. They're going to pretend like they're still doing well. They're not going to tell you every time somebody relapsed. They're going to just lie and say, no, it never happened. Because what God has done is absolutely bullshit. Couldn't resist it. Sorry. Okay, let's go. Couldn't resist. So intentional membership is when you stop asking, do I feel connected? And start asking, am I doing the work of connection? We've become such a consumerist society that we judge things by the way we feel and not by the work we've done. Oh shit, bars. Can I get a hell yeah? Yeah, I think I can. I think I can. Hell yeah. Thank you, Darante. You are so welcome. No, I did. No, am I? It's not about, it's not about, not just about how I feel. It's about what am I doing? And who am I doing it with? There's a joke there, but leave it alone. What am I doing? And who am I doing it with? How is it helping? Are we doing, because that's the purpose of connection. At the end of the day, life, as far as we know, is the story of how we move forward. Okay? It's the story of how we continue to exist. It's the story of how we continue to understand. And connection is that bridge. See what I did there? Connection is that bridge. Just very quickly, and I'm done, just to kind of hit this recap. So what we've kind of talked through out of all 4 weeks in this series, and thank you for hanging out with me for all 4 weeks. Fourth weeks are always low weeks. Fourth Sundays, just church Sunday. Fourth Sunday is always low weeks. And then for whatever reason, the fifth Sunday and the first Sunday be when everybody want to show up. But here it is. We talked about friendship, which is basically just the base level of connection. We've talked about family, which is connection with a purpose, connection with utility, and that utility is continuity. And then we've talked about partnership, which is co-creation. One of my favorite lines that came out of last week is partnership is where the logic changes from 1 + 1 = 2 to 1 + 1 = 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, if we're partnering, we got to be creating something new, something more. That's that profitability aspect. Something more we got to be able to get more from this relationship. And today, membership is ultimately about coordination. It is indeed how we coordinate ourselves in the world that we share. Coordination, I often define work is what you do to get what you want. Work is the work you put in to get in the direction you want to go in. And when I'm talking about work, I'm not talking about a job. I'm not talking about labor. I'm talking about activity. What you do to get where you're trying to go in life, or what you do to get the outcomes for the world that you want to see. That we work to get there. We work to get there. We've spent this entire series dismantling the idea that we are like ultimately just islands. We've looked at the biology that demands that we connect and the systems that keep us moving. But here is the truth. Connection doesn't just happen because we're in the same room. It obviously doesn't happen just because we're on the same planet. It happens because we decide to be in the same work. Most of us spent years in memberships that were really just audiences. We were there for the spectacle, but we were starving for the substance. We were praying for change while the tools to create that change were sitting right in front of us, disguised as reason. That I don't need a God. I don't need a moving of the Holy Spirit. I don't even need a political regime. I just need a good reason. Like I just need a good reason to connect better. And we've spent 4 weeks highlighting good reasons to connect better. Bridge City is where we stop drifting and start connecting on purpose. This is the revolution. This is the revolution of evolution, if you don't mind. So when you click the link on the screen to join Bridge City, you aren't joining a fan club. You're not signing up to be a follower of a brand. I got a brand, but that's not what this is. You're opting into a coordinated response to the fragmentation of the world that we share. If you're tired of feeling better for an hour on Sunday, but doing worse on Monday, if you want a community where the metric isn't your prayer life or your sex life, but your quality of life, If you're ready to move from attendance to contribution, from interest to involvement, and from involvement to impact, then this right here, Bridge City, could be the place where you start making your membership intentional. This could be your intentional membership. We don't need a God to whisper this to us. We just need each other to show up for it. People at work, that's the mission. To connect better, to build better, and to live better. My name is Darante LaMar Martin, and I have the privilege of being the lead community developer of Bridge City. And today, I'm making a personal invitation to you to get connected with not just a community that's committed to supporting you, but also a catalyst that's committed to moving the world forward. And that's really the point of all of this, is how do we move forward? So you can click the link to join our global community, introduce yourself when you join so that we can show you some love the way that we like to, and then go through the new member process that's designed to help you transition from being interested to being involved, because that's where we start making impact. Again, thank you all for being here today. Until next time, man, be the bridge. And now we're going to hand it over to Ashley.
What another great session today. Be sure to leave your favorite takeaway in the comments below, or join us on the global campus and keep the conversation going in the comments. Speaking of, if you're making the decision to join Bridge City today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We're glad to have you here and be part of our growing community, and can't wait to see you get involved. Your first step? Click the link on screen. There, you can take your first steps as a new member on our global campus. Once you're in, it's easy to get involved. We have a pathway in place for you to learn about the Bridge City campus and mission. So by the time you finish your first steps, you'll not only know more about your new community, but how to plug in and make a difference. So if you're ready to join, click the link now to get access to member-only content. We have conversations, clubs, and even courses. We can't wait to welcome you. And for everyone, if you value these conversations and believe in the work we're doing as a global community, let's take a moment to pause for generosity. Your support helps make this community accessible, sustainable, and growing. It empowers our bridges to not only reach further, but support more people on the journey. With the little support we've received so far, we've been able to accomplish so much, impacting hundreds of people through these Sunday sessions, events, and of course, our global campus. But imagine how much more we could be supporting, establishing, and promoting with consistent financial support. Your weekly or monthly support, large or small, empowers us to establish new spaces, train new leaders, and power new projects that move people forward and help them connect better. That's what Bridge City is all about. The donation link and QR code are on the screen now. For anyone who is willing and able to make a statement of financial support today, we appreciate you. You make this possible. And lastly, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. Help us reach new places by sharing this experience with someone and showing them there's life after uncertainty. Together, we can reach the world.
Thank you for joining us for the Falling in Love with Reason series. For our visitors, we hope to see you again next weekend. The first time you're a visitor. The second, you're a guest. If you come back a third time, you're as good as family. To our members, stay updated on events and activities by checking the Commons, clubs, and the Global Campus calendar. That's all for today, Bridge City. Have a people-centric, forward-thinking kind of week. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
sit around. Please don't settle now. We can do better now. We can get up. Please don't sit around. Please don't settle now. We can do better now.